President Rodrigo Duterte has declared a lockdown of the capital Metro Manila.
Bawal lumabas ng bahay ang mga residente maliban sa frontliners tulad ng health workers.
When the pandemic comes, everything changed, especially education system, from the best interaction learning class or face-to-face class to distance learning. It is a big challenge for its teachers and students to face a big change. But in the time like this, we must stay strong and take this as a motivation to reach our dreams with the best learning outcomes. With the help of our great teachers, we can still pursue our learning and still learn from it, whether in online and offline modality. Goal 1. To identify the different teaching strategies in an online and an offline modality.
High touch is more important than high tech. When a student is in crisis or a student wants to brainstorm an idea, and when they need a question answered, I want to be efficient. And one of the best ways of doing that is using the telephone. And so that's a real high touch way that has been really effective for me. And I had really avoided it for a long time because I thought, no, that's really not the technology of online education. But everything is the technology of online education.
Establish social presence using digital storytelling. When you start in a face-to-face classroom, when that professor comes in, you're looking at their clothes, the way they act, the jokes, the stories, all these things. You size up who they are, right? So for me, one of the things I leveraged or I relied on was the power of storytelling. And so the power of storytelling, telling stories is a great way to establish your presence and to help students get to know each other as real people.
Use technology intentionally. I think we get so excited, I know I do, about new tools and new digital communities and social media tools and technologies that we can use to really enhance what we're trying to achieve with students in our courses. But we sometimes let the tool sort of drive our decision making as opposed to going back to our learning objectives and saying, what do we really want to achieve? Does the tool help us achieve that? Just because we get really excited.
The power of external resources. There's tons of resources out there that if you just take the time to look, it's amazing what you can use to supplement your online courses. And so you don't have to do all the work yourself. It doesn't always have to be contained in the LMS or in the textbook. And hopefully through that also help encourage and teach your students that there's great resources out there if you just spend the time.
Make your expectations explicit. Being explicit in your directions, in your expectations, in everything that you are trying to achieve with students. That so often we keep that secret, we keep that hidden as faculty. We know what it is. Sometimes we don't even know that we're keeping it hidden.
Make it really easy for students to find out what is it they have to do that week, when is it due, what are the points, what's it worth, those types of things.
Fun and playfulness and the unexpected. Doing something that's different can really jolt them and re-energize them and re-engage them in a way that allows them to express themselves creatively. So that it's not just writing an essay, but let's write a screenplay that demonstrates your understanding of these concepts. So anything that adds a little playfulness, I think just re-engages people and makes the online experience not feel so cookie cutter.
You have to log in regularly. You probably should plan at least 5 days a week to be logging in your course. Now that doesn't mean you have to log in, all day, 5 days a week, right? Sometimes people, I think, misconstrue that and will say things like, well, online learning is just so much more work than face-to-face. I don't necessarily buy that, but it's very distributed. The faculty that I know that are the most successful, in my own experience, has been they log in regularly to their courses. The power of personal feedback. One of the things that I find that students really value and that they take away from is when they get specific individual feedback that's meaningful. And by not just giving feedback, but giving audio-video feedback, I've had students come back to me and really comment on how it was very meaningful to hear that even the inflection in my voice and that they could actually walk away with the positive comments. Whereas a lot of times when you just type stuff out, the negative just kind of comes through, right?
Goal 2. To compare the different teaching strategies in an online and in an offline modality.
Ito, una sa ating online resources, internet connection. Lahat ba ng school may internet? Lahat ba ng bahay may internet access? Siguro si Google, si DepEd Commons, free to access siya using your Globe and Smart SIM. Tama ba? Paano yung ibang online materials na ibibigay ni teacher kung gagamit siya ng ibang LMS like Google Classroom? Kaya kayang i-access ng estudyante yon? Kung kaya, papaano? Next, devices. May iba tayong gamit na online resources na gumagana lang gamit yung laptop. Meron naman din tayo, kahit offline resources is laptop lang. Paano yung mga school at bahay na walang computer sa bahay? Okay, meron silang cellphone. Pwede rin ilagay sa cellphone yung application. Paano yung mga bahay na wala namang cellphone? Yes, may ganun. Especially sa mga liblib na lugar. Wala silang cellphone. Of course, wala din silang internet. Paano ngayon ang tulong na gagawin ni DepEd patungkol dyan? Next, ICT skills. Alam natin na hindi lahat ng estudyante marunong mag-computer. Kasi wala silang computer sa bahay. Hindi sila skilled sa ICT. So, ano yung gagawin natin as an educator? Paano natin tuturuan ng skills yung bata? Okay? So, isa to sa mga challenges. At yung resources. Meron ba talaga tayong online resources? Nakapag-create na ba talaga tayo as a teacher? Ready na ba tayong magbigay ng ating resources sa pagpasok ng August 24? Malalaman natin na. Okay? Bukod sa online resources, I think meron din tayong challenges pagdating sa offline resources. Number 1, books availability. Sa panahon ngayon, hindi lahat ng estudyante may libro. Sa private, kailangan mong bumili ng libro. Sa public, madalas sharing ang tawag dito. Diba? Dala-dala ni teacher, gagamitin niya sa section A, dadalhin kay section B. Okay? Minsan naman, pag kulang yung libro, let's say, ang binigay lang ng school na libro ay 40, pero ang estudyante mo ay 50, share na lang yung iba. So, paano tayo magpapauwi ng mga libro sa estudyante kung kulang ang ating libro? Next, students' readiness. Yung mga ginawa ba nating offline resources, madaling intindihin ng bata? Kaya ba nilang sagutan? Kaya ba nilang aralin ng sila lang? Paano po kaya pagdating dito? Ready na ba talaga ang estudyante na mag-aral sa sarili niya? Ito yung tinatawag natin na student pace. Siguro yung mga senior high school, mga junior high school, yung medyo matataas na. How about elementary students?
Goal 3. To demonstrate teaching strategies in an online and in an offline modality.
Ang unang paraan sa distance learning ay tinatawag na modular. Ito ay ang paggamit ng self-learning module. Printed Modular Distance Learning o PMDL. Ito ay pamamahagi sa mga mag-aaral ng walang bayad. Digital Modular Distance Learning or DMDL na maaaring magkaroon ng kopya sa pamamagitan ng mga flash drives. Mayroong 5 hakbang sa modular. Una ay ang paghahanda ng mga guro ng mga module na gagamitin ng mga mag-aaral. Pangalawa ay ang pagkuha ng mga magulang ng mga module sa kung saang barangay sila nakabilang. Pangatlo ay ang pag-aaral na gagawain ng mga mag-aaral sa kanilang nakuhang modules. Kaapat ay ang pagsauli. Panglima ay ang pagtugon sa iba't ibang paraan. Ikalawang paraan ng distance learning ay tinatawag na online. Ito ay ang pag-aaral gamit ang internet, laptop, tablet at smartphones. Meron itong dalawang paraan. Una ay ang synchronous o real-time. Pangalawa ay ang asynchronous. Sa online distance learning, synchronous man o asynchronous, ito ay mayroong mungkahing oras sa pag-online upang mapangalagaan ang kalusugan ng mga mag-aaral at mga guro. Para sa baitang 6 hanggang 8, 2 oras. Para sa baitang 9 hanggang 12, 4 na oras. Ito ay batay sa American Academy of Pediatrics o AAP at World Health Organization WHO. Mayroon ding minumungkahing panahon ng pahinga habang naka-online. Una, panuntunang 20-20-20. Pagkaraan ng 20 minuto nakaharap sa gadget o anumang device, maaaring mamahinga muna ng 20 segundo tumingin sa paligid o 20 segundo na tumingin sa malayo. Pangalawa, panuntunang 10 minuto. Lumayo muna ng 10 minuto sa iyong gadget o anumang device. Sa online distance learning ay mayroong ding tinatawag na non-printed materials. Una ay ang electronic book or e-book. Pangalawa, DepEd Learning Resource Portal. Pangatlo ay ang Learning Management System. Isang halimbawa na dito ay ang DepEd Commons. Ikatlong paraan sa distance learning ay ang paggamit ng TV o radio broadcast. Magkakaroon ng kaukulang TV at radio channels na ibibigay ang DepEd kaalinsabay sa iba't ibang channels sa buong Pilipinas. Ikaapat ay ang blended distance learning o mga pinagsamang isa o higit pang paraan ng distance learning. Una, online distance learning at printed modular distance learning. Kalawa, online distance learning at self-learning module-based. Pangatlo, TV, video, at printed modular distance learning at iba pang paraan. Ang ikatlong paraan ng pagtuturo sa new normal ay ang blended learning o ang pinagsamang face-to-face at distance learning. Ang ikaapat na paraan ng pagtuturo sa new normal ay ang home-based schooling. Mula sa salitang home, ang mag-aaral ay nasa bahay lamang kasama ang mga magulang bilang guro. Narito muli ang 4 na paraan ng pagtuturo sa new normal. Una, limitadong face-to-face. Pangalawa, distance learning. Ikatlo, blended learning. Panghuli, home-based learning. Batay sa Learning Continuity Plan o LCP ng Dampol First National High School, ang ating ipatutupad ay blended distance learning na kung saan ay gagamit ng mga printed modules at maaari ding gumamit ng online distance learning. Maaari ding manood sa mga TV, video at iba pa.
Education plays a vital role in anyone's life. Its value is treasured and cannot be ignored, for it helps a person find a better job and fulfill his dreams and goals in life. Many would agree that education and success go together. For where education is, there lies success. Education is also an important aspect that greatly impacts this modern world. But for the past 6 months already, the world has been battling against an unseen enemy, lurking everywhere and attacking it. The Philippines is of no exception, and is one of the countries greatly devastated by COVID-19 virus. Many lost their jobs, many lost their lives, most of the businesses shut down, healthcare and governance are challenged to their limits, and education was almost put to halt. However, there is light at the end of this darkness. Most importantly, education cannot be put on hold and let the younger suffer and let the younger generation suffer the loss. While the country faces the severity of this virus, the leaders and pillars in education have been planning on how learning must still continue. Knowing all the risks, the Department of Education cautiously managed to come up with plans to not stop providing education to the millions of learners in the country. With a massive shift in education, teachers already called on and sought support from the community and from the integral resource of the family, the parents. Teachers cannot do alone all the tasks and plans themselves. They need help. So the goal is to empower the community and the parents to help the learning process of the students. Furthermore, education is key for the next generations of Filipino learners to become full-fledged, productive citizens of this nation. In this regard, the DepEd has launched its Learning Continuity Plan, which emphasized on implementing alternative learning resources, such as maximizing DepEd Commons, encouraging TV and radio-based solutions to areas with limited access to the internet, and making and delivering self-learning modules. The dedication and determination of our education sector have been seen by guiding the teachers, parents, learners, and the community in this new normal setup of the learning process. With the changing landscape of the Philippine education during this pandemic, teachers, parents, and learners must work together to recreate the learning experience in their home environments. Utilizing this distance learning that provides opportunity for students to learn, the community has a shared responsibility to ensure that education continues. Teachers, who also serve as frontliners, carry on them the challenge to be trained to use these new avenues of education and be equipped with the necessary skills to respond to the more tedious tasks and responsibilities. Indeed, this crisis has emphasized existing hurdles in all aspects of life. But we must remain focused, no matter how difficult it may be. We must provide every Filipino learner the quality of education they deserve. In any way possible, education must continue.